Hi, welcome back to Glowland. Happy to have you here. This week has been, once again, a lovely week for me. I did nothing all weekend, and it was perfect. Just stayed inside and watched movies and drank an obscene amount of tea with an obscene amount of honey, and it was lovely. There's in the skincare world, there's all this talk going around about how Kim K has a tanning bed in her office. And I think it's hilarious because, who cares? But also, everybody's talking about how tanning beds are, terrible for you, which is that's more common knowledge nowadays. And everyone's like, why in the world would Kim K use a tanning bed knowing that it's really bad for your skin? And so all the skincare people were freaking out on social media. And of course I find that entertaining. I don't really care about the Kardashians, but yeah, it's always funny whenever they do something skincare related and then all of a sudden they're on my Instagram feed, and everybody, all the skincare people I follow are talking about them all of a sudden. I'm like, oh Lord, what did they do this time? So this week it was tanning beds, and everybody's talking about, oh, you shouldn't use them. It's yeah, I thought we all knew that by now. I thought we were all on the self-tanner game. If you even are a person who tans. I mean, I'm I'm black. I'm not doing self-tan or anything. I'm not bronzer who. But yeah, that was my that was a little bit of entertainment for me this weekend. Anyways, this week I'm talking about my Accutane journey. I've mentioned it already before that I went on Accutane a couple years ago, that it totally changed my skin, and I just wanted to do an episode about why I did it, how it went, how things have been since, and yeah, just get into the nitty-gritty of it. People always have questions about it when I tell them that, but there's some common questions that I want to answer, and then there's the things that people don't ask about and they probably should ask about that I'm also gonna answer. So let's get into it. So I'll start with why I went on Accutane. I mentioned previously I had acne for 15 years of my life. Went from when I was 10 years old to when I was 25. And it started out pretty mild as a kid, and I never thought that I would have to do anything really drastic about it. But as an adult, it turned into a sort of moderate cystic acne, and it was very clear that it wasn't going to go away without some more drastic measures. So anybody who knows, anybody who's had severe acne, severe cystic acne or any other kind of severe skin conditions, knows it takes this mental toll on you that you wish it wouldn't, because it's just it's literally just acne. It's truly not a big deal. We all know it's truly not a big deal. And it doesn't say anything about you as a person. I did get some wild things in the past, growing up, where people would be like, why don't you just try XYZ? And I'd be like, I've already tried that. You think I haven't Googled the things that I could try? They're like, have you tried witch hazel? Yeah, that's acne 101. Yeah, I tried that. And people would be saying that to me when I'm in my 20s. I'm like, yeah, I tried that when I was 14 years old. Let's move on. And if witch hazel works for you, I'm happy for you. Didn't work for me. So yeah, I really tried. I tried all kinds of stuff. I tried topical, tretinoin, that kind of stuff. I did the benzoyl peroxide. I did the salicylic acid. I all of the above. I've tried all of them. And none of those things fully cleared up my acne. I'll get into another episode, but there's all kinds of other measures that I've taken to really keep my acne at bay, including giving up dairy, which everybody who knows me knows that aside from just normal lactose intolerance, eating dairy, like eating any milk-based products, will also make me break out, in addition to all of the other things that come with being lactose intolerant. So I don't eat any dairy at this point. If you want oat milk recommendations, I have them for you. But yeah, it's been an adventure. But yeah, and a couple years ago, unfortunately, obviously, we all had to deal with COVID. We all went through that weird collective traumatic experience that was living through a pandemic. And not much good came out of it, but one of the few things that I sort of benefited from was since I was partially unemployed, like I wasn't working full time, I suddenly had government health insurance because I applied for benefits just to get things like rent assistance and unemployment like pay, like benefits, and food stamps, and then I also got insurance out of it. And I honestly just didn't have insurance before that. I wasn't on my parents' insurance. I was really just I was living on the edge there. Really really brave of me, I know. But yeah, I finally had insurance, and government insurance really kind of just covers almost everything. I mean, yeah, there's not really like co-pays and stuff the way that we have with our insurance through employers or other means, but yeah, so all of a sudden I could afford to go to a dermatologist, which I hadn't been back to one since I was a teenager. And so I finally went, and I was like, hey, I've tried all of the things for my acne. Nothing has worked. I want to do Accutane. And the guy I was seeing at the time, he had just started it and immediately saw results. And I was like, well, I should go on this and see if it works for me. And he was like, it's miserable. And I was like, I will take it because I've been miserable about my skin for 15 years. So what's a few months of being a little extra miserable? Yeah, little did I know the whole like mini adventure it would take me on. So, for those of you who don't know, if you are like biologically female, like if you have a uterus, you do have to go on birth control to be on Accutane because it has an incredibly high chance of causing birth defects if you are pregnant while taking it. It's something like 95% chance of causing birth defects. Like it's almost guaranteed. And I told my doctor, I was like, look, are condoms an option? Like, I'm probably not gonna be, just going at it during the next few months. And they were just like, nope, like even if you were to completely abstain, like you literally have to sign something that says you're going to take birth control the entire time. You're going to go on like a, effective, birth control method that isn't just abstinence because, whatever obviously they can't really just like trust people, which sucks, but it's like they're really covering their bases there. So I had to do that. Wasn't happy about that. I don't like being on birth control. I had been on it in the past. People had been like, oh, it'll probably help your acne. It did not help my acne. I did not have hormonal acne ever. That's not really a thing that I've dealt with in my life, interestingly enough. I don't usually like really particularly break out around the time of my period or anything. So being on birth control does not help my skin at all. And so I was like, great. So I have to go on this thing that I don't like, that always like kind of messes with my mood, just so that I can get rid of acne. But once again, temporary. So I went with it. I was fine with it. In addition to that, they tell you to try to take it with some like a fatty meal. So I was eating avocado and bacon like almost every day as part of either my breakfast or dinner. And I think I'm not really into like diet culture. Like I'm not really into, I haven't like really tried going on a diet before. Hasn't been necessary for me, but, I think I accidentally entered ketosis because I was on such a high fat diet. So I did lose a couple pounds just by accident. Not a ton or anything, like truly like just like 5 pounds. And I think it also helped that, you're not supposed to drink while you're on Accutane because Accutane's really rough on your liver. And so to also drink on top of that, yeah, I did, I was a little bit of a rule breaker in that, sometimes well after I took my pill for the day, I would then like maybe 3-4 hours later, I would have a drink and I'd be like, okay, well, there's like a good buffer here, but I'm not chasing my Accutane with a beer or anything. But yeah, you're not supposed to drink while you're on it, which is a good thing to know if you're like an adult with acne and you regularly like, I don't know, have a glass of wine at the end of the day. Yeah, that's a no-no. So yeah, those are all like the base rules and everything just to be on this medication. I also, thankfully, right before I would like started taking it, I heard about L-lysine, which is just an amino acid that already is part of your diet normally. Like it's already, just like vitamin C or vitamin B is. I mean, it's just another part of your diet that you just need to like function. But usually we just get small amounts of it. But it's really good for wound healing, and it's really good for joint health. And it actually can help some people with acne. So if you've been trying to figure out anything that you should add to your diet to help with like breakouts, I actually can recommend L-lysine. It's great, and there's not really any side effect to it. I used to take like the full two pills a day that I could take. Nowadays, I still take one a day, if that. Some days I miss, but yeah, I'll still like take one when I get home from work, even today, just because it makes my joints feel nice. It's I don't know, I have bad knees and it helps with my knees. And I sound like an old woman when I say that, but yeah, I've also had bad knees since I was like 9 years old. I have a knee condition. And so it was helping with that. And the guy I was seeing at the time, he was like, oh, the Accutane has been like hell on my joints. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, oh, it just, all my joints feel terrible from taking it, and I can't go to the gym because it hurts. And I was like, oh, well, I've been taking L-lysine and I haven't really noticed any of that. So that really helped ease a lot of my side effects, which was great. But I was still super dehydrated all the time. Accutane dries out your skin really quickly. Anybody who's used a topical like retinol will know that the turnover will dry out your skin really fast. So I was just slathering on moisturizer and face oils. I really liked like squalane and rosehip oil. If you're into like the Crave Beauty brand, they have like Tamanu oil, which is really good for your skin, without being pore clogging. Not that anything could really clog my pores at this point. I hope you can't hear the sirens outside. I'm recording in a different room today. But a lot of people who have really dry skin do slugging, which is like they'll put like straight Aquaphor all over their face. And like there were times where I basically had to do that because my skin was so dry from the Accutane. But once I like fully moisturized my skin, oh my Lord, was it glowy. It was it was like, because I just had like new, like fresh skin all the time. And it was like just super glowy all the time, which was great. And people were like, oh my God, like, what is your skincare routine? And I'm just like, oh, I'm in the middle of Accutane. Like, that is the routine. I am just washing my face and moisturizing the hell out of it. I am not doing anything crazy to it right now. This is just natural skin turnover, happening really fast. So yeah, in the end, after 7 months of being on it, it worked, which was great. I hardly get breakouts nowadays. Still, even to this day, if I like use something on my face that my skin hates, I'll break out. If I eat dairy, I'll break out, but I just generally don't do that. And if I like do anything terrible, like, sleep in my makeup or something, like I'll probably get a zit. But overall, I don't get cystic acne anymore. It also cleared up my back knee, which I like didn't have like super severe back knee, but I had some and I was a little bit like self-conscious about it. That's gone. So like that's cool. And yeah, and I've mentioned before, my skin is just like way more dry now. Like it's not nearly as oily as it used to be, so I have to moisturize it a lot more than I used to year round. I feel like I used to just, in the summer, my moisturizer would just be my sunscreen, and like that'd be it. But now I actually need to use at least like a light moisturizer or something, in addition to my sunscreen. So, yeah, I mean, for some people, their acne does come back, which, I'd say technically at the level that I'm at, like I really don't need to go back on Accutane, but I probably could, just to like further get rid of any last remnants of acne. But I mean, it really is harsh on your body. It's not good for your liver. I literally posted about it at some point, and I used like a hashtag. I said like hashtag Accutane, and some weirdo came into my comments on this like Instagram post and was like, that's really bad for your body, and like, what are you even putting into, like, do you even know what you're doing to yourself? You don't know the long-term effect. And I was about to comment back and be like, hey, do you know the long-term effects of the mental like load that this is putting on me? like how terrible this is for me, like self-image wise. Like, let's talk about the long-term effects of that, of every day waking up and like trying your best and this thing just never going away until you go through a more drastic measure like this. So I'm like, I mean, it's not even the lesser of two evils. Like, I feel like okay, cool, my liver might be like a little bit worse for wear after that, but it still works, and I didn't do anything too crazy to my body, and I'm not going to go back on Accutane. And people do much crazier things to themselves. It's not like I'm getting a BBL here or anything, which actually could kill you. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it's not the riskiest thing in the world. It's just like a lot of medications, you just have to follow your doctor's orders. And I don't regret it at all, obviously. I really appreciate that it exists and that I had health insurance for that point in my life. And I was partially unemployed, so I had plenty of time to sit at home and slather on moisturizer. And oh, and I guess the other thing I should mention is you really shouldn't go out in the sun while you're on it. So I think that was also just led me deeper into my commitment to using sunscreen, because you will get sunburnt if you're just like out in the sun. So I was on it winter, like through the spring, and I got off of it right at the beginning of summer, which was like perfect, because it meant that the end of the summer, then I wasn't like concerned, not super concerned about slathering on sunscreen all the time. But yeah, that was my Accutane journey. It was a wild time in my life, and yeah, wouldn't change it. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any other questions that I somehow didn't cover in my little rant there, feel free to DM me on the Glowland Instagram, Glowland Skin. But yeah, that's kind of it for this week. Once again, I hope everyone's just doing well, hanging in there. I hope everybody's on their way to working on their New Year's resolutions and everything. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.